everyone, it's Intori. Welcome to this comprehensive build guide for the SNS Spear class in Throne and Liberty. Today, we'll cover everything you need to know to master this powerful tank build, from early game to end game. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about the pros and cons of this build. The SNS Spear combo offers excellent AoE farming potential, making it great for clearing mobs efficiently while packs a punch with strong single target damage. You'll be a valuable tank to any party with your great utility buffs and your high survivability. The build has high mobility and can constantly get CC immunity buff with high collision resistance, even with free-to-play gear. On the other hand, it's very mana-hungry, so you need to manage your resources carefully. Now, let's talk about early game gear. When you're just starting out, focus on getting blue gear through the lithograph system. You'll want to prioritize items with strength and dexterity stats, as well as critical hit chance and hit chance. Don't forget about max HP, endurance, and defense. These will keep you alive in tough fights. This is the build for an early game where you have 1600 combat power and are able to do T1 dungeons and open world dungeons to obtain these epic gear. The Carnix's Netherblade is obtained from the Death's Abyss tier co-op dungeon, or pity craft using the two-dimensional soul shard. To craft the dimensional soul shard, you'll need 20 soul shards from each of the co-op dungeons. The skull-shivering spear you can obtain through defeating the Dark Wizard in the Shadow Crypt open-world dungeon. Or you can obtain it through talking to the Sundry's Crafting and craft it for 40 Abyss currency, which you get one as a reward from Allied Force Resistance Contract Scroll. Supreme Devotion and Bracers of the Primal King can be obtained through the Cave of Destruction co-op dungeons. You can also get it through crafting the Laquirus's equipment selection chest from the Sundry's Crating Merchant. You can get the two rings through the Sundry's Merchant by crafting the Precious Epic Accessory Selection chest and the Abyss Precious Epic Equipment chest. For the necklace, go to Castleton and talk to this Arena Sundry's Merchant. You need 9 arena coin to be able to buy the Icy Necklace Strength. You can obtain 6 arena coin maximum weekly through playing the arena. For your stats, aim for at least 60 strength to get that sweet 900 max HP and heavy attack chance bonus. You'll also want 40 perception for a 5% buff duration increase and at least 30 dexterity. As you progress into the late game, you've got 2 main build options. The first is the 4-piece Shock Commander set, which is super tanky. The second is a 2-piece Shock Commander with 2-piece Shadow Harvester, which is more of a bruiser build, balancing tankiness with damage output. Now let's break down the 4-piece Shock Commander build. This build gives you an extra 10% block chance, which not only helps you block more attacks, but also boosts your defenses thanks to the Aegis Shield passive. It's easily one of the tankiest builds in the game. However, this build requires the Band of Universal, which cost about 1500 lucent more based on the market. For your head, chest, and pants armor pieces, you'll want to focus on Mana Regen, Endurance, Max Health. For gloves, take Max Health, Magic Endurance, and Attack Speed on your gloves since you'll never get enough Attack Speed law. For the cloak and belt, take Max Health, Collision and Skill Damage Resistance. And lastly, for accessories, prioritize Max Health, Skill Damage Boost, and take either Collision Chance for more reliable CC or take buff duration to stay in the fight longer. If you're feeling a bit more aggressive, try the 2-piece Shadow Harvester set. This gives you a juicy 12% crit damage boost, turning you into a tanky target that can still wreak havoc on the enemy's backline. Both of the build uses the Flamewrought Bindings that drops from killing the Ovolo's Guardian in the Sanctum of Desire, which only open during raining. Another way is to buy the Desire Precious Epic Equipment chest through the Sundary's merchant. This is the PvE skill build for bossing. You can just copy what I have here. We use the conditional damage spec to increase the damage when the enemy is shocked. Shock is an effect that caused by stunning enemy that is immune to stun, and we get a 7.5 seconds of shock debuff using the Abyssal Cleave. Let's talk about the Spear Damage Kit. Spear has two main ways to deal damage: use Stacking Burst or Stacking Ignite. Let's start with Burst. This spear-specific mechanic is all about stacking up to 5 times. At max stacks, your spear skills gain additional effects or increased damage. Brutal Fury at 5 stacks can be reused 2 additional times for massive damage. Your bread and butter for burst stacks is Culling Arc with the critical burst spec. Now, onto Ignite. This bad boy can stack up to 10 times and lasts 9 seconds. Each stack deals damage over time, and at 10 stacks, it explodes, dealing a whopping 460% base damage to nearby enemies. You can use this information to set up your own skill builds. Now, let's talk about skill rotations for bosses. First, you'll want to start by charging up your Javelin Surge for a skill damage boost. Next, provoke the boss, buffing the team with Unyielding Sentinel, and buff yourself with Blood Leech Aura followed by a Piercing Strike. Then use Gale Rush for an attack speed buff, followed by Abyssal Cleave to apply Shock debuff, which increases the damage of Phoenix Barrage, and apply crit damage boost. After that, we use Phoenix Barrage for a crit damage boost, and apply Ignite. Use Curling Arc to apply 5 burst debuffs, then hit them with Brutal Fury 3 times, then Piercing Strike again to upkeep the aggro. Finally, throw up your counter barrier and spam Piercing Strike thanks to its cooldown passive. After that, just use any other skills as they come off cooldown. A few things to note is to prioritize using Piercing Strike to upkeep the aggro. Only use Brutal Fury when the enemy has 5 burst debuffs, so you can use Brutal Fury 2 additional times, and use Stalwart Bastion during critical phases. Here's the full rotation. Let's move on to the passive, which is subject to change for the next update on January. For Spear, start with 10 points in Path of 3 for attack speed, then put the next 10 into the Destroy tree for a skill damage boost. For SNS, put your first 6 points into the first branch for the shield block chance, then the next 10 into the third branch for some cooldown reduction, then finish off the first branch. Here's my PvP skill build. I believe that skill build is up to personal playstyle and what role you are fulfilling. My style is to be the frontline tank, disrupting the enemy through stun, collision CC, and debuff. Here's a gameplay that I've uploaded in the previous video. Enjoy! As a spear tank, your job is to dive in first. I should have buffed myself before I dived in. When it comes to runes, try to get the rare bonus for more stats. For your weapon rune synergy effect, go for added attack speed with 3 dexterity. You can never have too much attack speed. On your necklace, aim for crit damage reduction with 2 dexterity for an extra layer of mitigation. Your bracelet should have attack speed with max health, while rings should focus on max health with either perception or strength. Finally, your belt should have crit damage reduction and regular damage reduction. totaling up to 10% crit damage reduction. And there you have it, folks. That's everything you need to know about mastering the SNS spear build. I hope this guide helps you dominate both PvE and PvP content. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more Throne and Liberty content.